Welcome into Fox 35 News Plus, and here is the interim Osceola County Sheriff Christopher Blackmon getting ready to speak to the media, announcing the arrests of two OCSO employees. That's all we know right now. Not many details. Hoping to get some more information from the sheriff here, who just recently took office a few weeks ago following the suspension of the previous Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez. So he, in a conversation with Marie Ettinger recently, vowed that he would be transparent about things like this. And so here he is holding this news conference today announcing the arrest of the two OCSO employees. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Out of the fan. There we go. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Chris Blackmon, Osceola County Sheriff's Office. And when I came into this office and agency, I promised the public that we would operate with honesty and integrity, and we will continue to do that on the same path going forward. Sadly, we're here gathered for this press conference to inform you that two of our employees have broken that sacred trust that's instilled upon us. You know, our oath of office is a sacred promise that we are supposed to act with integrity and serve those we protect. Again, today I bring to you all this information that two of our members were arrested. On July 15th, an investigation was started on civilian employee Cassandra Worthland. She was an 8.5-year employee of the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. Her job title was Digital Evidence Specialist. Cassandra was fired from the Sheriff's Office on July 17th of 2025. July 23rd, we had arrest warrants issued for Cassandra on 4 counts of unlawful use of a two-way communication device and 4 counts of unauthorized access to a computer system. On July 23rd, Cassandra was notified and she turned herself into the Osceola County Jail. As we continue to look at the issues within the agency, I want to remind you all that we have a great agency with a lot of good people. We just have a small segment that we're looking at that have some issues. And with that, as we see those issues, we will arrest and prosecute those people if it's criminal charges. Today, we arrested a former Osceola County Sheriff's Office Deputy Sheriff, Kyle Henry. He's been employed with the Sheriff's Office since October of 2021. He was assigned to the Community Outreach Division, and that investigation is still ongoing. We made charges today of his unlawful access to computer system and electronic databases to obtain information not relevant to his official duties. That's from May of 2024. And why do I say May 2024? I want you all to know that that come from the prior administration, and we promised when we took over we would come in, and as we found things that popped up, we would take the appropriate action on whatever that may be. So these two employees have been arrested. The access that Henry did was unrelated to his work caseload or his authorized assignments. That's a direct violation of the agency's protocols and Florida law governing offenses against computer systems and electronic records. On June 23rd, Henry was placed on administrative duties by me. On July 29th, a warrant was issued for his arrest, and this morning he was arrested without incident here in Osceola County. I can't comment on either one of these cases. I know you want comments, but I can't because both investigations are still ongoing.
Are they related at all, the two?
They are not.
Can you talk about Henry's background at all? Wasn't he terminated from another agency before he came here?
I don't know that for sure. I was told that, Shannon, but I don't have that.
Can you talk about how it's related to another case?
I cannot.
Were these discovered through the ongoing audit?
No, these were discovered by our staff here, stuff that was brought to our attention, and we looked into it. As I told the public from the beginning, we're going to build trust and integrity back with the agency. So we've looked into the cases that were brought to our attention, stuff that we found. Like I said, this is from 2024. And again, to the public, we're going to look at anything like that going forward, and we'll make appropriate charges if they're criminal. We'll make them. If it's administrative and it's bad enough, we'll terminate the employee.
Do you anticipate further arrests?
As of right now, no.
Can you give an update on the ongoing audit as well?
It's underway.
When is it expected to wrap up?
They told us 60 to 90 days from the inception, so I don't know. As soon as we get that, we'll publish that to everybody. I want you to see what's going on, because we're going to be honest and open with our book, so to speak, and our integrity is not going to be approached at any time.
Are you able to say if this has any nexus to the ongoing investigation into Marcos Lopez?
I can't.
So besides the audit, is there an investigation going on?
The audit is separate and apart from this.
Right, it's separate, but is there an investigation
As we're made aware of stuff or as we discover stuff, we're acting on that.
What were the two names again? I'm sorry.
Let me give it to you correctly. Obviously, the one this morning was Kyle Henry, and the other person was Cassandra Worthland. She was arrested on July 23rd. Henry was this morning.
Sheriff, can you confirm, was Henry under investigation back under the other administration, or was there no investigation and you started one, or did it not finish and you continued?
I'm not sure.
It was brand new.
Brand new?
You guys initiated the investigation.
That's correct.
It's stuff that should have been looked at, Shannon, but it never was. So it's
That's
stuff.
why I asked the question.
No, we found it and we initiated investigation.
And also just one clarification on her, she did resign. She was not fired. She resigned under investigation.
Completely unrelated.
Completely.
Yes, separate and apart.
With the search warrant, are these charges of the level of crimes, is it a felony or?
Yes.
misdemeanors? All of them
Felony.
felony?
Yes.
Any reason to believe the prior administration had any knowledge of these alleged crimes or should have known?
I don't know.
But you just said before, like, it should have been looked into under the prior administration?
I would think so, yes.
Can you confirm the spelling of Cassandra's last name?
I cannot.
W-I-R. Cassandra, C-A-S-S-A-N-D-R-A. Worthland, W-I-R-T-H-L-I-N.
That's-
Is there a protocol to make it felonies no matter what? Because it's in law enforcement, or is it?
No.
just the investigation?
It's the stuff they've accessed that creates a level of felony charge.
Can you delve into the content and what they were reviewing?
I cannot. All right, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Osceola Sheriff Christopher Blackmon giving some details there about the arrests of a civilian employee and a deputy. So here's what we know. Not a whole lot of details released. He said he's not able to talk about them because of the ongoing investigations, but talking about Cassandra Worthland. She was the civilian employee digital evidence specialist who was fired in July, now facing charges of several counts of unlawful use of a communications device and unlawful or unauthorized use of a computer as well. And then former Deputy Kyle Henry, who worked in the Community Outreach Division. This, according to the sheriff, happened back in May of 2024 during the previous administration when the Osceola County Sheriff was Marcos Lopez. He is charged with unlawful access of a computer system as well. We don't know the details about that. The sheriff declined to give more details about what they may have been accessing. He did say they are separate cases, not connected in any way, and not connected with the ongoing investigation into the alleged illegal gambling ring that the former sheriff is facing charges in as well. Now, Sheriff Blackmon did say this is something that the previous administration probably should have looked into, but didn't when he's talking about the allegations against Kyle Henry, who was just arrested today in connection with those allegations from over a year ago. So 2 OCSO employees arrested. That's the word from Osceola Sheriff Christopher Blackmon in that news conference just a few minutes ago. It does look like he may have come back to the podium here. Let's listen in and see what he's talking about now.
Hey, somebody's ready. Somebody's ready. Y'all ready? No. No?
All right. Well, not really sure. They may be discussing some other topics there, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going to go ahead and take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus. We are still standing by for the start of a news conference with the Marion County Sheriff and the State Attorney General, expected at 2 o'clock in Ocala as they give details on a child sex predator sting operation that was conducted last week and resulted in a number of arrests. So we'll have that for you in just a few minutes as well here on Fox Local. So keep it here.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Not a great feed coming in right now, but this is President Trump speaking in the Oval Office right now. He's attending a bill signing, taking some questions as well. So let's go ahead and listen in here.
Oh, because of the Fed. He's done a bad job. Now, he's got a meeting today, but I call him too late. You know, he's always too late. Even if he does it today, probably won't. I hear they're going to do it in September, not today. For what reason? Nobody knows. But Europe, as you know, cut their rates 11 times in the last short period of time. But the good news is we're doing better than anybody anywhere in the world. Nobody's doing anything even close to us, even with the higher rates. The higher rates do affect housing, though, because people can't go out and get a loan or refinance their house. And it would be nice to have them be able to do that. That would be just another check of a box that would be very important. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, you mentioned today that India, in addition to its 25% tariff rate, would pay an additional penalty because of its support of Russia. What is that additional penalty? And are other countries facing the same threat?
Well, we're negotiating right now, and it's also BRICS. You know, they have BRICS, which is basically a group of countries that are anti the United States, and India is a member of that, if you can believe it. It's an attack on the dollar, and we're not going to let anybody attack the dollar. So it's partially BRICS, and it's partially the trade situation. It's the deficit. We had a tremendous deficit. So, as you know, Prime Minister Moody is a friend of mine, but they don't do very much business in terms of business with us. They sell a lot to us, but we don't buy from them. You know why? Because the tariff is so high. They have one of the highest tariffs in the world. Now, they're willing to cut it very substantially, but we'll see what happens. We're talking to India now. We'll see what happens. It doesn't matter too much whether we have a deal or whether we charge them a certain tariff, but you'll know at the end of this week. August 1st is a very big day for this country because money is going to pour into the United States like we've never seen before. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hawley introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and to the vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, you know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. How did that happen? It happened by she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and the stock goes up after the announcement's made. And she ought to be investigated.
Harvard is reportedly willing to settle with you for $500 million. Is that enough?
Well, it's a lot of money. We're negotiating with Harvard now. They would like to settle, so we'll see what happens.
What is America's debt to our Afghan war allies that kept our veterans safe over there? There's been some talk about sending a lot of them back. Would you let your administration do that?
We know the good ones, and we know the ones that maybe aren't so good. You know, some came over that aren't so good. And we're going to take care of those people, the ones that did a job, the ones that were told certain things. A shame what happened. One of the most disgraceful episodes in the history of our country. The way we left Afghanistan was just a disgrace. But I understand your question fully, and we'll take care of 90% of your question, okay? I know what you mean. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, on the tariffs on India, are you still open to negotiate with India on the tariff front or on a deal?
Well, now we'll see what happens. Again, India was the highest or just about the highest tariff nation in the world. And one of the highest, 100 points, 150 points or percentages. So India was one of the highest in the world. They had won 175%, and higher than that. You know, there's another higher one is Canada. They've been charging our farmers 200%, 300%, 400% for years, and nobody did anything about it. But India is one of the highest, so we're going to see. We're negotiating with India right now.
Cash Patel reportedly found burn bags of Russiagate materials, and we'd love to get your thoughts on that.
He said what?
Burn bags of Russiagate materials. The FBI supposedly found.
I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that statement. Say it.
Bags full of Russiagate
A
documents.
burn bag. I thought you said appointed a man named Burn Bag. Go ahead.
No, so
You got to speak up.
thousands of documents in these bags, supposedly burn bags at the FBI in the secret room.
Well, I want everything to be shown, you know, as long as it's fair and reasonable. I think it will be shown and it should be shown. And I think he feels that way, and I think Pam feels that way. But it's got to be, it's got to be stuff that really doesn't hurt people unfairly, because you have so many people involved. And if they can do that in a fair way, I think it's great. I think it's really great. The whole thing is a scam. It's a scam set up by the Democrats, and they love talking about it. But I would like to see people exposed that might be bad. And we'll see how that all works out. But it's getting to be very old news. If they had anything, they would have done it the week before the election, because they were losing by a lot. If they had anything, they would have done it. They controlled the file. The Democrats controlled it. Comey and all this, sleazebags, every one of them that you read about all the time. And I guess they've got some problems now having to do with yet a different scandal, very big one. But they control that file. So I would think that if they would have had something in the file, they would have released it about a week before the election. Maybe 2 weeks, right, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, welcome home, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
It was a great trip. It was an amazing trip.
You look good. Real
For the
quick.
country. For me, it was okay, but for the country, it was an amazing trip. Go ahead.
It was. Many parents are preparing to send their kids back to school in a few weeks. Now, this will be the first time they've gone back to school under the second administration for you. Now, the previous administration labeled a lot of parents domestic terrorists for showing up to school board meetings. What's your message to parents now as they return their kids to school, knowing that they have the support of you?
Well, the beautiful thing is, as you know, we've gotten rid of the woke. Woke is gone, and I think pretty well buried. We're going to make sure it's buried. But the parents are now taking over the school boards. They're getting rid of these people that probably didn't like the children very much based on what they were doing. And it's a big difference. And, one of the other things, and I keep watching these talking points that the Democrats have. They say, oh, prices are up. No, prices are way down. Fuel is down. Groceries are down. Things like eggs are way down. When I came in my first week, the eggs had gone up like 4 or 5 times. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. And they were hitting me about eggs. I said, I just got here. It was one of my first maybe my first news conference. And we have eggs down now to a point where they were actually lower than even before. So I just want everyone to know prices are way down. And that's a big thing. Groceries, everything. If you look at fuel, $2.35 a gallon, a lot of that. But we actually had 4 states where it's down $1.99, $1.99 as opposed to $3.50, $4. And it went up a lot higher than that. They got rid of my policy, and then it went through the roof. And then they brought my policy back, but it was too late. They blew it. We had the highest inflation in the history of our country. And now we have no inflation. We have nothing but cash coming in. The world respects us again. We're a really great, proud country. And I say it, I'll say it again, many, many leaders of other countries, I'm dealing with a lot of them today on their tariff situation. They owe us a lot of money. But many countries said to me, and almost in the same words, you were a dead country 1 year ago, and today you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We are the hottest country right now anywhere in the world, and that's why we're taking care of our veterans. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
On China, Mr. President, on China, the Secretary of Defense briefing today.
You guys.
We're moving along with China. We're doing fine with China. I think it's going to work out very well. We're right in step. I think we're going to have a very fair deal with China. Thank you very much.
President Trump wrapping up his remarks. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Florida Live.
Florida Live starts now.
Well, good afternoon to you and welcome into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Wymer and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. I want to let you know we are standing by for the start of a news conference any minute now where we expect to hear from the State Attorney General, James Uthmeier, and the Marion County Sheriff, Billy Woods, as well as the State Attorney, giving details on a child sex predator sting operation that was conducted last week in Marion County. So we are standing by waiting for that news conference to start, and we will bring that to you when it begins. But we want to start with our Tampa connection, and so we go to Fox 13 digital content producer Nancy Gay, who joins us live now from Fox 13 Tampa Bay. And Nancy, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Garrett. We're going to start today in Tampa. A Tampa police officer was shot this morning by a suspect at a district office near Busch Gardens. Now, we are told that that suspect, after the shooting, ran across the street and shot himself. He killed himself outside of the theme park. And this all happened shortly before 8:15 this morning. Tampa Police Chief Lee Baracall held a press conference this morning, and he said that this suspect went to the district office to complain about something. What his issue was, we're still not sure. Now, but Baracall said that the officer and the suspect, they were actually talking between a fence in the back of this district office. Baracall said that the two appeared to be having a cordial conversation, and when the officer thought they were through talking, he turned to walk away, and that's when he felt he took a bullet to the leg. Other officers immediately came to his assistance and put a tourniquet on his leg, and at that time, the suspect ran across the street toward the back of Busch Gardens. Officers ran over there immediately, and they found him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Now, that officer, who is Jordan Laupart, he was taken to Tampa General Hospital, where the police chief says not only is he conscious and alert, but he's also in good spirits. And this morning he was actually joking around with his daughter, who went to the hospital to be with him. Police are still working to identify the suspect, but they say they believe it is a 21-year-old man who doesn't have a large criminal history. Now, during the press conference this morning, the chief said he believes that the suspect did have some type of mental illness. Now, again, as I mentioned, the officer is 41-year-old Jordan Laupart. He has been a part of the Tampa Police Department for about 10 years. Now, normally, he is actually a school resource officer at Hillsborough High School. However, he was working at the district office because the school is closed for the summer break. Now, Chief Baracall said that his officers did a great job this morning protecting the community. And right now, investigators are going through body cam video and surveillance video to learn more about what happened. As I mentioned, that suspect did kill himself outside of Busch Gardens, but he never made it into the theme park, and Busch Gardens is operating as normal today. Garrett?
Scary situation there. You also heard the police chief say this is something that could have ended up a lot worse as well for that officer.
Yeah, it definitely could have ended up a lot worse. That suspect, I mean, he just shot the officer as he had turned to walk away, so the officer didn't even see it coming. So it was definitely could have ended up much worse.
Story number 2, Nancy, and that is continuing to feel the impacts of this heat.
Yes, that's right. Tampa set another record yesterday. Our heat index here topped out at 119 degrees, setting a record. And we are seeing more and more emergency rooms are seeing more patients with heat-related illnesses. Now, over the last few days, doctor at HCA Florida Brandon Hospital have told us that outdoor workers like roofers, landscapers, and construction workers have made up the majority of patients coming in for those heat-related illnesses. Now, the first signs of heat exhaustion include sweatiness, nausea, vomiting, as well as a spike in your pulse. Now, more serious than heat exhaustion is heat stroke. That is a life-threatening medical emergency, and that happens when your temperature is about 104 degrees or higher. Now, HCA Florida Brandon Hospital, they do have special targeted temperature management. They have a heat kit for any time someone comes to the ER with a heat-related illness. Now, this heat kit includes a cooling vest, instant cooling packs, as well as a cooling blanket. Now, again, if you are spending time outdoors, it is recommended that you stay hydrated, wear loose-fitting, lightweight clothing, as well as take frequent breaks. Garrett?
Or just stay inside.
Yes, if you can stay inside, definitely stay inside. But as these doctors were telling us, the majority of people coming in with these heat-related illnesses are people whose jobs depend on them being outside, like those construction workers and those roofers. So unfortunately, they do have to be outside during this heat wave. And again, if you are one of those workers, definitely try to stay hydrated as best as possible.
Yeah, easier said than done when you're talking these temperatures, when you have to be out in it for hours at a time. Story number 3, and that is the Sandcastle Hotel being demolished.
Yes, this is a story that is super interesting because this hotel was actually owned at one point by Leona Helmsley. Not only was it owned by her, but it was actually owned by her dog. Now, this old Sandcastle Hotel, which was built in 1953, was bought by the woman who is nicknamed the Queen of Mean. And when she died in 2007, she left the hotel to her dog, whose name was Trouble. She left Trouble the hotel along with $12 million. When Trouble died in 2011, and the money he received was added to a family charity foundation. Now, like many older ground-level beach hotels in the area, the Sandcastle was heavily damaged by Hurricanes Helene and Milton last year, and crews from JP Services of Sarasota began demolishing the hotel on Monday. They do believe it will take several weeks to demolish the hotel and separate those materials. Now, the property is now owned by the same hotel company which owns the local Opal Collection hotels in Clearwater, Sarasota, and Naples, and they do plan to build a new luxury resort on that property where the Sandcastle once stood, but they do say that will take several years to build. Garrett?
And it's still more of an inheritance than my dogs will get from me someday.
That's for sure. My dog, she's definitely not getting a hotel. She'll be lucky if she gets her little crate and her treats and maybe a rawhide or something. But she's definitely not getting a hotel or $12 million. Yeah,
what can you do? Fox 13 digital content producer Nancy Gay, we appreciate you joining us for our Tampa Connection.
Thank you.
We are going to go to break here on Florida Live, but we will be right back. We are still standing by for the start of this news conference in Marion County, where we expect to hear from the sheriff, the state attorney, and the Florida Attorney General, James Uthmeier, as well. So keep it here on Florida Live. We have much more to come after this. Welcome back into Florida Live. I want to get you inside this news conference just getting underway in Marion County. That Lieutenant Paul Bloom. We do expect to hear from the Attorney General and as well as the Sheriff and also the State Attorney. So let's go ahead and listen in as they talk about this child sex predator sting operation in Marion County.
still disturbing because this even exists in our society. We're going to keep doing this, and the sheriff, I know, will reinforce that and let you know that. But this short 6-day operation, and you're seeing some of the folks that were arrested, we could do this every single day and make arrests every single day. So at this time, I'm going to introduce our Sheriff, Billy Woods.
All right, first I'll start. I know it's unusual. Y'all have heard me say this before, is I want to say thank you to you. You do play a big part. Now, majority of the time you get it wrong. You mislead sometimes in what you put out there, but the fact is you being here to be able to send a message for such heinous crimes that we have out here, I want to say thank you, okay? Regardless of what my opinion is of the media, but the fact is these cameras that are in front of me, allows me to be able to talk to a lot of parents. And we're about to talk about an operation that these are the operations that you truly do not want to be successful. You don't. You know, it's on both ends of the spectrum. Because of the hard work that goes into these type of operations, to see, well, success is not really the right word, but then being able to catch the amount in which they do the hard work and producing it. But then on the other end of that is that what these crimes are, you do not want to occur. Because I tell people, and when I talk all the time, I tell people the only profession on this planet that you truly do not want to work is us in law enforcement. Because when we're working, that means there's bad people out there. We're having to address the evil of the human being in this world every single day. And this operation is at the top of the ladder of the worst operations that you really do not like working. Now this operation, it's seek and ye shall find out. And trust me, they found out about what was occurring. But before I get into that, I want to say thank you for General Uthmeier being here, Representative Groh, Ashley Moody staff being here, and our State Attorney Bill Gladson for being here as well. And all the partners, you know, the Ocala Police Department, Lake City, FHP assisted, Bill's office assisted, Homeland Security, FDLE, Polk County. And yes, I'll give Grady a little credit here, okay, guys? I'll give Grady a little credit. He did send me a little bit of help, but his people were here as well, and Port Orange Police Department. These operations are so large that it requires a collaboration of all these offices being put together. These resources have to come together because they wouldn't be successful like they are. Now, I want to point out something that a lot of your viewers and a lot of people don't realize, because they don't think that when they think of law enforcement, they only see one thing. They see a uniform. They don't see the human beings that are standing behind me right now. Now, these detectives, the good majority of them, their fathers, their mothers, they're no different than you or anyone else on this planet. And to see and have to deal with these things, I am proud of them every single day for the work that they do. They go above and beyond. And when you see and read these cases, you go, how can they watch, hear, or even tolerate that? These detectives, my detectives, and the detectives around this nation that conduct these operations, they're dedicated. Dedicated individuals. Bill Gladson's office is dedicated. General Uthmeier's office is dedicated to ensuring that we put these individuals behind bars, that we ensure that we keep them behind bars. Because you're going to find out in a couple of them, and I've talked to you before about individuals that we'll have in these operations that have committed these crimes and then 2 days from being released, they're doing the exact same crime. One of the biggest things in this press conference is a message to the parents that are watching. The parents that are watching, you need to pay attention to your children. Now, you'll see in all of the affidavits or even in the reports, you're going to see the amount of apps that are out there on the internet that gives them access. The criminals gives the criminals access to your children. To put it in perspective, these vile individuals right here, these vile individuals, they showed up with condoms, cocaine, alcohol, and many other drugs for a child. Now keep in mind, this was targeting 13 to 15-year-old children. 13 to 15-year-old children. The operation itself is where I just said it, they pose as 13 and 15-year-old children. They go on numerous social media platforms. Every one of them, let me be this clear, every single one of them, and this is to the viewers that are out there, that I know the post will come, all right? They'll come up with their comments. They'll have some sympathy for them. I have zero sympathy for them. Every one of them knew that they were making an arrangement to meet with a child, not an adult, a child. They sent disgusting text, photos, videos. It's all in there to do harm to a child. But here's a bigger message to parents. Look at the pictures. You see some in pink, and you see some in blue. Pink represents the ones that were wanting to meet a female, and the ones in blue are the ones wanting to meet a male. So the parents out there that have only doesn't matter. I'll say it again, and I'll consent to be clear. I am always grateful for the cooperation of every agency. My goal is to make it clear that we do not, Marion County and the 5th Judicial Circuit, and truthfully, in the entire state of Florida, as I'm pretty sure, as the General is going to make abundantly clear, we do not tolerate this crime. My citizens demand it, and as their sheriff, I will ensure that I will use every resource to hunt these pieces of shit down. So I'm going to hit on a hot topic. All right? The non-U.S. citizens that are in here. 7 of them. Now let me make something clear because, again, you in your lovely way have the way to distorting information of how we do and target things. Now, one, we didn't have a clue that they were U.S. citizens when we started the app with them. But let's also be abundantly clear, every single one of them told us where they were born, or where they're not here, or they are not a U.S. citizen. 1 from Mexico, 1 from El Salvador, 1 from Jamaica, 2 from India, and another one from Dubai. Now, before I get to them, this is the PCs of every one of them. Probable cause affidavits. So let me give you a little insight. This individual, 57-year-old, wanted to meet a 15-year-old boy. You know what his response when these handsome fellas met him? My wife is going to be very upset and family. Well, I hope they are. And here's a message to his wife. I hope she gave him the finger and told him to get the hell out of the house. If she needs me to come to her house and pack his shit, I will send a ton of deputies there to get him out of there for her. And I hope she's watching and I hope she's listening, because my heart goes to her and her family. This one, 50-minute drive to meet with a child. 50 minutes. This one lives in Gainesville, was willing to pay for the service, brought 7 unopened condoms with him. This 35-year-old, another one from Gainesville, I think the next one is from Gainesville as well, too. I see a pattern, so let me ensure of you something here. You, the ones in Gainesville, my friend, my fellow sheriff, I promise you that Sheriff Chad Scott is going to know your name. I'm going to assure that he has you at the top of his list. This one, offered to pay $50, or even brought party favors. Here's one. 31 grams of cocaine, 9.5 grams of crack cocaine, 20 grams of meth, 18.5 grams of marijuana for the child. Oh, look at there, surprising, Gainesville. This one drove all the way from Orlando and then said after having sex, we'll get to go shopping. Here's what's infuriating, and I know it's on his radar. This individual admitted, disclosed to my detectives, has already had multiple contacts, sexual contacts with juvenile boys, and in the past with a 9-year-old. 9-year-old. My opinion and my opinion only. And the general and the state attorney can say what they want, but I'm here to tell you, this piece of shit has no right to walk this earth. I think it should be capital offense for that. And here's a sad one. This one probably, for a split second, broke my heart. Retired First Sergeant of the Army. He's a contractor for the Department of the Army right now. That breaks my heart. I can keep going through every one of them. 40 of them. 40 individuals. Within less than the first 24 hours, nine. Within 24 hours, he was arrested. So you want to know why we want these individuals out here that are not U.S. citizens? Why are we doing what we're doing in the state of Florida? Because the state of Florida is the cut above anybody. Because of leadership like General Uthmeier, the governor, our legislators, representatives, like here. They say we will not tolerate who in the world in their right mind would think it is okay for these individuals to be in the United States? Which brings me to this. One of them who was here, a student at the University of Florida, here on a visa. On a visa. Now here's my plea to Secretary Rubio, and I'm pretty sure, because I've got friends in the Secretary Rubio's office, that he's aware of this, ensuring that this visa gets revoked. But that night, a moron at the University of Florida said, no, we're not going to revoke his visa. It'll be okay until he comes back, until the trial is done. What person in your right mind, regardless of policy that you have in place, do you think it is okay to keep an individual in this, not only in this county, but in this state, in the United States, do you think it is okay to leave an individual that does this type of crime? I don't give a crap what other countries want. I don't give a crap what other countries do. What I do care is about the citizens of not only my county, but of this state and of the United States. Now, luckily, the higher-ups in UF felt a little pressure. Could have been General Uthmeier, could have been myself for today. As far as I've been updated, they've kind of stepped up to the plate. But here's a clear message to the rest of their employees. And to that employee, now I may not have your name in front of me right now, but you better pray to God you're not a Marion County citizen, because I will do everything to ensure that I could get your ass out of my county. We will not tolerate it. These crimes are unexcusable. And these men and women that did the investigation, They dot the I's, they cross the T's. And like I told you, the majority of them are fathers. And like I told you, the majority of them are fathers and their mothers. And any of y'all, anyone out there that opposes anything that I've said, you're just as guilty as them. Now, I'm going to stop for now because I want to give General Uthmeier the platform, and all yours, General.
As a father of 3 little ones, today's a pretty gut-wrenching day to look at these 40-plus heinous people and the crimes they committed. As Attorney General, today's a monumental announcement. It's an announcement that only can take place because of the many law enforcement agencies that work together, due to the heroism of the investigators that went to great lengths to find these guys and make sure they arrested them. And I'll tell you what, in this area, you're blessed. You've got an outstanding sheriff. You've got a terrific state attorney. It's very clear by the comments that were just made. This is a rule of law, tough on crime jurisdiction. It doesn't seem like there are many plea deals in this jurisdiction. That's a good thing, especially on this stuff. I know the state attorney here is going to be doing the Lord's work to make sure that these people go away for absolutely as long as possible. And then those that shouldn't have even been in this country, they'll go back where they came from after they've served their time. But to go after young kids, there is no defense, there is no justification, there is no excuse. It will not happen, it cannot happen in Florida, and we will work every day to make sure that we are getting every single one of these guys off the streets. When I took the oath of office 6 months ago, I told my team going after child predators is priority 1. And we've got about 1,000 priorities, but it is priority 1, probably 1 through 100. We've got to keep our streets safe. We've got to make this a safe place to raise a family. And parents, I've got to warn you at home, you are the first line of defense, and if you do not know what your kids are doing online, you got to figure it out. You've got to have the tough conversations to figure out if your teenagers should be using the internet in the first place. I understand those conversations can get tense, but if they're going to use it, you better know what they're doing, and you better be monitoring their behavior. And if you're not, then you're going to be just as guilty as some of these guys when something bad happens. So parents need to wake up. You need to plug into what your kids are doing online, because that is the tool of the devil right now. We're seeing technology used more and more every single day as people try to solicit and pursue and prey upon our kids. So for every day I'm Attorney General, we're going to be working minute by minute to capture as many of these guys as possible. We'll be working with our state law enforcement up and down the state. Florida's got the best state law enforcement in the country, and we'll be working to support our state attorneys however necessary to tie these guys up 6 ways to Sunday for as long as we can. I want to conclude by saying some of the leads happened on Snapchat. This is a platform that our office has sued on behalf of the state. We believe Snapchat is violating Florida law and is unduly exposing our kids to serious harm. Parents at home, as a reminder, if you don't know, I didn't know, the nature of Snapchat is the pictures, the videos, and things that disappear right away. Makes it harder for law enforcement to track bad behavior, and it makes it a preferred outlet for sex offenders to go after kids. So if your kids are on Snapchat, you better look into the settings. You better make sure that nobody that's not in a network that you approve can communicate with your kids. So we'll be going after Snapchat in court. We're going to be going after them with everything we've got. We will be aggressive, and I believe we will hold them accountable. So with that, I want to thank the sheriff for having me. State attorney, I got your back, whatever you need, and we'll be fighting the good fight every day. Thank you.
Thank you, General Uthmeier. Now I will turn it over to our State Attorney Bill Gladson.
Thank you, Sheriff. Once upon a time, I was a kid living in a neighborhood. Like many of you in your neighborhood growing up, you had boundaries, whether they were streets you weren't allowed to cross or houses that you were supposed to stay away from, or whatever it might be, but your parents and your family and your neighborhood had rules. Today with cell phones, if you're not, to piggyback off of something the general said, if you're not watching your kids and you're not making sure that they are being safe, they're essentially inviting people from around the world into the neighborhood that used to be a safe space. Worse yet, they're inviting them into their homes. And as a parent, you can be in your home while your child is talking to one of these predators and being groomed. And that should horrify everybody. So I want to thank the sheriff's office and the deputies that worked on this operation, because it's the largest one I've ever seen. 40 people picked up. And I've done a lot of these, and I've never seen this size of a catch. And frankly, that's 40 people that will not be able to prey on victims for the rest of the time that at least I can try to put them in prison. So that's fewer victims, that's less generational trauma that they would cause on future victims. So I just want to thank the sheriff's office again for that. And I want to thank the general for his comments. Knowing that the Attorney General of the state of Florida has law enforcement's back and is working. He actually had prosecutors from the Office of Statewide Prosecutor in this operation, and that says a lot about his commitment to the people of the state of Florida. So I'm going to leave with just telling everybody we will do the best we can to put these people in prison, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gladson. So, you heard it abundantly clear. We won't tolerate it. The best AG and the best state attorney. And when you got a team like that and us, you're screwed, literally. All right, I'll open up the floor for questions.
How many were non-U.S. citizens?
7.
And then how many, so Snapchat was Snapchat the main one, or how was Facebook?
There were several. Snapchat, listen, there was platforms I never even heard of, and it's like, where in the world did these people think of this crap? So, can you got some of them off the top of your head?
Yes, sir. We used social media platforms. A lot of the details we don't want to get into to reveal. I'm sorry, to reveal some of our investigative leads. We don't want to release too much of what we're using for platforms, but we're using social media. We're using dating apps. We're using things like Snapchat. A wide array of different platforms to attract a bunch of different offenders.
Would you give us your name, please?
Sergeant John Lytle.
Spell that for me.
Lighttle.
Anyone else?
Can we switch? I have a couple questions for the AG. This is just regarding everything going on with the ICE agreement. You just released a statement. Are you hopeful Orange County commissioners will reverse course and sign the modified 287G agreement with ICE, just like the City Commission in Key West just did? Have you put them on notice?
I certainly hope they come around. The law requires it. Law was passed in February. It's pretty clear. It says that, local governments have to exercise best efforts to support ICE in carrying out its federal immigration enforcement duties. So if ICE and the sheriffs are requesting that correctional officers in Orange County help to transfer detainees to ICE custody, then you better bet they've got an obligation to do it. So I know the mayor said some, disparaging things about me. That's all fine and good. My response is, look at the law. The law is what it is. We got a duty to enforce it. That's our job.
He said he called you a bully. Your response to just that, him calling you a bully, and also you called Orange County a sanctuary county. What makes Orange County a sanctuary county, and what is the county doing to violate state law?
I would point you to the sanctuary jurisdictions legislation in Florida statute. That legislation says that any local government effort to impede law enforcement's ability to assist the federal government in immigration enforcement is per se a sanctuary jurisdiction. So based on their own admissions, I believe they're violating Florida law, and if it makes me a bully to ask them to follow the law, then so be it.
Attorney General, what's your reaction to Mayor Demings saying today, if they did do these transports, they, one, need more resources, and two, they would need more reimbursement? And do you have a message for any possible consequences if they don't agree to these transports at all?
Well, I think the law has some pretty strict consequences, including removal in it, if it comes to that. If there are some, prohibitive resource constraints, and those would need to be laid out. But it seemed like the county just decided they weren't going to do this. There wasn't a whole lot of explanation or justification. So, again, I hope they come around. I certainly think they have the ability to help transfer some detainees over to ICE upon the request of ICE and the sheriffs. But I'll say here, we're talking about child predators, disgusting things that are happening to kids. Over 40 child predators getting arrested, and you guys want to keep talking about some of these local government fights. I'm happy to do it, but I think today is a monumental announcement and really should be the topic of the day.
One other question, though, is Orange County allowed to negotiate the rate for federal government reimbursement for transporting detainees without breaking state law?
So we have an immigration enforcement board at the state level that was part of the legislation that was passed in February. There's money set aside for reimbursements. Those discussions are certainly allowed to happen. But at the end of the day, the city's got an obligation, the county's got an obligation.
Do you plan on having a conversation with Mayor Demings then about the possibilities moving forward of how you can come together on this?
If it comes to saving lives and protecting our cities and our counties, I will have a conversation with absolutely anybody, anywhere. I mean, look, you got 7 individuals here, people that are going to have ICE detainers if they don't already. Would the mayor just assume we're not going to hand these guys over to ICE? These disgusting, disgusting predators? We don't have the ability to hand these guys over. What would the mayor say to that? These are people that preyed upon kids, brought cocaine, brought condoms, wanted to do heinous things to kids. And we're just going to say, oh, we don't have the ability to help? No, that is wrong. That is wrong, and I reject it.
Do you know in Orange County, the last time Orange County tried to renegotiate the cost of reimbursing with federal government?
I do not.
Should you mind?
Yeah, please.
So, you for real on that question?
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, this is your first time before me. This classifies into the category of a dumbass question, all right? And here's why. You want to play with money with people's lives, okay? And that type of a question is offensive to me because regardless of what government entity, as far as I'm concerned, any sheriff or any police chief that refuses to help ICE, you're basically refusing to help a fellow law enforcement officer. Unless they're doing something illegal, immoral, unethical, you help them. If Ocala PD asks for my help, a deputy's coming. If Lake County asks for help, my deputies are coming. ICE is doing their job. So let's also get something abundantly clear. Illegals. Holy hell. Do you have to look up the definition of it in a dictionary? I don't. Wrongdoing. They came here because they did something wrong. Oh, that's at the top of my list of a citizen I want added into this country. Let me add more bad people that want to do wrong.
So in your opinion, is Operation Seek and Find Out right?
Is it what?
Is Operation Seek and Find Out right?
Is it right?
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, it's right. It's the right thing to do. To seek out and find these individuals that do wrong in my county. And to answer yours, we always talked. And I'm sorry, General, but
Nobody said they needed anything. Anybody could pick up the phone at any time and say, hey, we want to help, but we're struggling. Could you help us with this or that? Absolutely, we would. Didn't happen.
Listen, law enforcement, here's the one thing we've learned. We're going to put a square peg into a round hole when somebody needs help. That's what's going to happen. We all have personnel problems. We all have personnel shortage. Hell, the state of Florida is growing so fast, none of us in law enforcement can keep up with this growth. It's an impossibility. But what I will not do is I will not use it as an excuse, a reason, or a justification to put a bad guy or get people that want to do wrong in this country away. It's as simple as that. And as an American, as a sheriff, I find it offensive. Because every one of us sheriffs in this state have sent a clear message. He's right, the governor's right, legislation is right. And we're here to ensure that we accomplish that mission. As simple as that. That'll be all the questions, so thank you.
You could hear some frustrations and some strong words there from the Marion County Sheriff and also from the Attorney General, James Uthmeier, as they took issue with some of the questions from reporters there. I also want to apologize for some of the language we heard from Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods earlier in that news conference. They were announcing the arrest of more than 40 people from a 6-day undercover sting operation targeting child sex predators. They said these are people who, according to investigators, traveled to Marion County trying to have sex with 13 to 15-year-olds, bringing condoms, cocaine, alcohol as well. They said 7 of them are not U.S. citizens. It's unclear if they're here illegally, but they did point that out. They also mentioned some of the online platforms that were used, including Snapchat. At the end there, you heard the Attorney General ask about his threat and the state's threat to remove the Orange County mayor and commissioners over failure to sign an expansion of an ICE agreement because the county has said they need more resources. They don't have the ability right now to transport these detained illegal immigrants to Alligator Alcatraz. You heard what the Attorney General had to say about that, and also what the sheriff had to say about that. We're going to take a break here on Florida Live. When we come back, I'm going to play for you what Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings had to say earlier today about that topic. So keep it right here on Fox Local and on YouTube. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Florida Live. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We heard the Attorney General, James Uthmeier, talking about the threats against removing the Orange County Mayor and the Board of County Commissioners over their failure to agree to or sign or adopt an expanded ICE agreement when it comes to shuttling those detained illegal immigrants to Alligator Alcatraz. You heard what the Attorney General had to say about that in Marion County just a few minutes ago. This has been a topic of conversation in Orange County for several weeks now. The county has maintained that it needs more resources to be able to take that step and to do that. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings was at an event earlier today and was asked some questions about the letter from the Attorney General over this issue, and here's what Mayor Demings had to say earlier today.
Well, first off, I have mixed emotions about the letter that actually, when I left the office yesterday, we had not formally received the letter.
Not come back.
Apparently, the letter was sent to you, the media, and not to those of us in Orange County government. I haven't had the opportunity to check this morning because of being here, but what I will tell you is that first off, Orange County believes in lawful immigration. We support lawful immigration. There's been much to be said now about what Orange County believes, but let me just share with you, Orange County believes in the United States of America. We believe that we are indeed one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It has been said in many ways that unjust laws are no laws at all. In this particular case, I find it somewhat ironic that the 37-year-old Attorney General is attacking me personally, attacking our board. I spent more years on the streets of Florida patrolling our streets as a law enforcement officer than he's been alive. But he's attacking me and what I stand for, and so I'm here today to just tell you that what do we believe? Who am I? I believe in faith, truth, and the courage to lead in various ways. I've been a leader in this community, enforcing the laws of our nation, enforcing the laws of our state. I am not in a position to not enforce the laws. I find it ironic that he's attacking us because of our immigration stance. He defines a sanctuary city or county as something that we truly are not. We're not a sanctuary city or county. I don't know if the federal government has adequately ever defined what that really means to the people of our country. What I can tell you is that what do we believe in? We believe that we should be treating people humanely. We believe that our Orange County Jail is a place where those who are lawfully arrested or detained, whether they be federal inmates, state inmates, or local, on local charges, we believe that that is an appropriate place for them to be held. However, what I would tell you is that when he says that we're making our state unsafe, to the contrary, we're making our state safe by incarcerating the individuals and detaining them in our jail. Our correctional staff is entrusted with the responsibility to keep the inmates safe, to keep our community safe by holding respective inmates in our correctional facility. We have done that. This notion that somehow we have not cooperated with ICE is a misnomer, because to the contrary, we have cooperated with them fully. They have asked us to enter into an agreement. Agreements are two-party. It's not a one-party kind of a situation. That means that it's subject to some discussion and negotiation amongst the parties to the agreement. That's all that we're saying here. How can we keep our community safe if we already have shortages of correctional staff at the Orange County Jail? When the federal government asks us to take and pull our resources out of the jail to go handle a federal responsibility to transport them to other locations, indirectly what they're doing and directly what they're doing is making our community unsafe, making our jail unsafe, because then they're pulling people out of resources that we cannot afford to send somewhere else within our state. That's all that I simply said, is that when they put an agreement before us that we must sign this agreement, well, an agreement, again, is a two-party conversation about it, and we're saying we're going to have a conversation with the federal government. Our community is entitled to reimbursement for those that we hold on federal charges. We've said that we want to negotiate what that reimbursement rate should be. Is that fair? Is that fair to the people of Orange County? I do think it's fair to the people of Orange County to be in a situation where we negotiate it. The other thing that he is saying is somehow that we're not following the law. Well, we'll probe into what the statutes say, but what I will tell you is that his interpretation of the law is an unjust law. What is happening, sadly, in our nation, here within our state, is that our state attorney general is trying to bully the law enforcement agencies, the sheriffs, the police chiefs in our state to comply with whatever they say. Well, I'm a former sheriff. I'm a former chief of police. I'm a former jail director. I understand the mechanics of all of these particular workings, and what I will tell you is that that is unfair to have a unilateral mandate to those of us who have to work at the local level, have to operate our jails. We're not under the sheriff's office. Our jail is managed and operated by Orange County government. I have the central responsibility as the CEO of this county to make certain that that jail runs efficiently and that it is done so in a safe, fair, just way to treat people humanely while they're in our custody. So I'm pushing back in terms of the narrative that has been set before us to say that somehow we are a sanctuary county. Our commission, I'm standing here with Commissioner Wilson, we have never taken any action to say that we're a sanctuary community or any of that. What we are saying is that we are a community that is a community of laws, just laws, and so we will have a full conversation before our Board of County Commission about the merits of Mr. Uthmeier's correspondence to us at the next available Board of County Commission meeting, because we can't talk outside of the sunshine. That's the next scheduled sunshine meeting that we have, and we'll see where that conversation goes. I will put my 44 years of public service and my 37 plus years of law enforcement experience on the line to say that I want balance. I am not going to be bullied by the state attorney general, if you will, who is just ambitious.
Himself under contempt of court.
He's ambitious and not adequately, I think, processing what he's saying to our community and to the communities across the state of Florida. And he's trying to manipulate the circumstances, manipulate law enforcement. I don't know what happened. What I would say in terms of the sheriffs, I've been the president of the Florida Sheriff's Association. I have the greatest admiration for the sheriffs in the state of Florida, and I think it is woefully unfair to the sheriffs to be used in the manner in which this state attorney general and perhaps the governor have done. They're using law enforcement for their own selfish political interests and not in the best interest of the state of Florida and looking at the bigger picture.
That was Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings earlier today responding to the letter that the Attorney General sent. You actually heard him mention that he believes it was posted online before the county had even received that letter. We did see that in a tweet earlier this week, that letter that was sent, kind of sending that message that we heard the Attorney General talk about in Ocala just a little bit ago as well. One other thing I want to make sure we mention here, it's been a busy hour here on Florida Live, and we appreciate you joining us. One of the things I want to make sure doesn't fall through the cracks is we did get a verdict today on the Lawrence Doherty trial, which we've been listening into here on Florida Live throughout the week. Lawrence Doherty was charged with a second-degree murder and convicted today, found guilty of a second-degree murder in the killing of former Orlando Magic player Adrian Payne back in May of 2022. Now, the jury could have convicted him of a lesser charge of manslaughter. They could have found it was justifiable homicide. They did not. They rejected the claims from the defense that this was self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. We heard a lot of emotional testimony yesterday from Adrian Payne's girlfriend, Tara Walker, and Lawrence Doherty himself got emotional on the stand yesterday as well, as he told his version of what happened. Now, the prosecutor had tried to poke holes in Doherty's testimony, while the defense really tried to say that the testimony of Tara Walker, Adrian Payne's girlfriend, was unreliable, and to try to raise some questions about what they heard from her. Also tried to raise some questions about the integrity of the investigation, what the crime scene investigator, their inexperience in looking into this as well. But the bottom line is a conviction. Lawrence Doherty convicted of second-degree murder today. And it took the jury, I'm looking at my notes here, only took them about an hour and a half before they came back. So they retired to begin deliberations shortly after 11 o'clock, around 11:07. Then it was about 12:48 that the verdict was read. So about an hour and a half there. They did come back with one question, but beyond that, 90 minutes or so for that jury to return a conviction in that case out of Orange County. Well, thanks for joining us here on Florida Live. We appreciate you joining us. We're here weekdays at 2 o'clock live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.